Good morning, third year. We are now on our second semester, academic year 2019-2020. Our subject is mental health. Mental health, by definition of World Health Organization, it is a state of complete physical, mental, and social wellness, not merely absence of disease or infirmity. Complete physical, meaning you are not deaf or blind, you are complete physically. Mentally stable, meaning you can control your emotions, you can control your anger, and social wellness. The ability to relate to and connect with other people. You are able to communicate well and establish and maintain positive relationships with family, friends, and co-workers. Example, someone who works to decrease violence and handle the conflict in a positive way. Or you demonstrate a basic social etiquettes like thank you, excuse me, sorry, or good morning. Those are social wellness without a disease. Mental health, complete physical, mental, and social wellness without a disease. A mental health is a state of emotions. We have different emotions like happiness, joy, fear, sadness. It is a state of emotional, psychological, and social wellness as evidenced by satisfying interpersonal relationships. You have good relationship with your friends, good relationship with your families. You are not fighting with them every day. Okay? You also have effective behavior and coping. If you are angry, you can control your anger. If you have problem, you can handle your problem effectively. You also have a positive self-concept and emotional stability. So let's talk about emotions. We have different types of emotions. And emotions helps us humans to communicate what we feel towards certain situations, people, or things, and cope with everyday life situation. So there are 6 primary main types of emotions like fear, joy, love, sadness, surprise, and anger. What is a fear? It is a response to impending danger. We have different types, or we have different subcategory of fear. When you are fearful, you feel nervous or anxious, apprehension, distress, dread, tenseness, uneasiness, or worry. So fear has different level. Um, Example of fear is when your father is sick, you are afraid of you might lose your father because of illness. Another types of fear is when you are riding in a car, you are fearful of accident. Another one, you have fear of animals like snakes or dogs or cats. So there are different levels of fear. Some are intense, some are traumatic, some are mild. Another example of fear, or you are fearful that you might fail mental health subject, or you are anxious about the result of the exam. Another emotions is joy. It has a shades of enjoyment, satisfaction, and pleasure. Of course, when you are enjoying, your facial expression is like this. You smile, you are cheerful, amusement, euphoria, happiness, jubilation. These are the synonymous, or it has the same meaning of joy, but with different level of happiness. Another subcategory of joy is enthusiasm, excitement, thrill, or zest. Next is love. It is a feeling of profound oneness. We have different types of love or subcategory. So we have affectionate love, familiar love, playful love, obsessive love, enduring love, self-love, selfless love. We also have love between family members, or love between friends, love between married people, and love of God. So we also have the love of God is unconditional love. For love of between marriage, it is a romantic love. We also have a friendship love, and love of affection for a family member. Another emotions is sadness. It is a feeling of loss and disadvantage. If you are sad, you feel insecure or homesick. You feel embarrassed or humiliation. And of course, there are subcategory and different level of sadness. Example, one of your family member is sick. You are suffering, you are disappointed, or you have a feeling of shame. Another emotions is surprise or astonishment, amazement, or you are wondering. This is the showing up of an unexpected result. For example, your friends has a surprise gift for you. So you feel amazed and astonished. Another emotions is anger. We have a subcategory and different level of anger, like fury, wrath, bitterness, loathing, resentment, hate, rage, agitation, aggravation, irritation. When you are feeling anger, it is evoked due to injustice or conflict, humiliation, negligence, or betrayal. You must need to control your emotions. If you cannot control your emotions anymore, you need to seek medical advice. For example, if you cannot control your anger, that would be dangerous because you might hurt other people using physical moves like boxing or kicking or fighting. Another one is sadness. You cannot control your sadness, it would lead to depression. And when you are depressed, you might think negative thoughts that would lead to suicide or killing yourself. Another example, if you have money, if you cannot control your emotions, you cannot control your money. So you have money and then you buy anything that you want even if you don't need it. So you cannot control yourself spending money. So that is not healthy. Again, if you cannot control your emotions anymore, you need to seek medical advice. There are factors influencing a person's mental health. Number one is individual factor. Number two, interpersonal factors. Number three, social or cultural factors. When we say individual factors, you have a capacity for growth and you can manage the stress with a healthy response despite of stressful situations. You can also do problem solving. You are able to deal with situations. You are resilient, meaning with a good response. You can work under pressure, even if you have many problems, you have still believe in God and find meaning in your life. Next is interpersonal factor. Meaning these are your relationship with your family members and friends and other people. You have an effective communication, ability to help others, and you feel connected to them. So what are the causes of mental illness? It can be genetic and hereditary. It can be a psychoimmunology, or if you have low immune system, you become at risk. Infections and viruses can also cause a mental illness. What are the parts of your central nervous system? So it consists of brains, spinal cord, nerves that control voluntary acts. In your brains, we have the cerebrum, cerebellum, brainstem, and limbic system. So this is the brain, the spinal cord, and the different nerves. So central nervous system is your brain and spinal cord. And your peripheral nervous system are the nerves scattered in your body. This part is your cerebrum, cerebellum, and your medulla or brain stem. In your cerebellum, we have here the frontal lobe. This part is the occipital lobe. This is the temporal lobe. And this part is the parietal lobe. In the frontal lobe, this lobe controls your thought, your body movement, your memories, emotions, and moral behavior. In your parietal lobe, this controls your taste, touch, and spatial orientation. In your temporal lobe, this controls your smell, hearing, memory, and emotional expressions. And on your occipital lobe, this controls the language, visual interpretation. In your cerebellum, it receives and integrates information from all body areas to coordinate movement and posture. In our brain, we have different neurotransmitters. A neurotransmitter is a chemical messenger that carries, boosts, and balances signal between neurons or nerve cells and other cells in the body. It is a chemicals in the brain, such as dopamine, norepinephrine, epinephrine, serotonin, histamine, acetylcholine, glutamate, and GABA. So the one responsible for the control of complex movement, motivation, cognition, and regulation of emotional response is your dopamine. The one responsible for attention, learning, memory, sleep, wakefulness, and mood regulation is your norepinephrine. Epinephrine is the one responsible for fight or flight response. Serotonin is the one responsible for food intake, sleep, wakefulness, temperature regulation, pain control, sexual behaviors, regulation of emotions. For alertness, control of gastric secretions, cardiac stimulations, and peripheral allergic responses, the responsible neurotransmitter is histamine. For acetylcholine, It is responsible for the sleep and wakefulness cycles, signals muscles to become alert. Glutamate, responsible for excitatory amino acid, and GABA modulates other neurotransmitters. This is your brain cells, or what we call neurons. Neuron cells are neuron cells sends and receives electrochemical signals to and from the brain and nervous system. Our brain and spinal cord are made up of many cells, including neurons and glial cells. And there are about 100 billion neurons in the brain. Okay, let's move on to mood disorder. It is a pervasive alterations in emotions that are manifested by depression, mania, or both. It interferes with the person's ability to live life. Again, a mood disorder is alteration in emotions that interfere with the person's ability to live life. So when we say mood, let's say example, when you are depressed, you cannot function properly. A mood is a temporary state of mind or feeling. Let's talk about major depressive disorder. A major depression is 2 or more weeks of sad mood, lack of interest in life, activities, and other symptoms. I'm going to show you an example of major depressive disorder. He is Faraj. Faraj is a chef and he really enjoys his job. He has a lot of friends and he's very friendly. He also enjoyed sports. So Faraj, he has a good job with many friends and enjoy sports. Later on, his father got sick and eventually died. After the death of his father, his behavior changed. He wants to be alone, no more interest to go out with friends, and he stay in the house and sleep too much. So if you are depressed, there is changes in sleep. It's either oversleeping or cannot sleep. There is also a change in eating patterns. Maybe overeating or cannot eat, that would lead to weight gain when you overeat and weight loss when you cannot eat. There are also changes in interest or loss of interest. So if you are depressed, you have loss of interest, no more pleasure, no more interest to go to work, and eventually he lost his job. And if you are depressed, you feel worthless, meaning life has no more meaning. So when he lost his father, he changes in his sleep, changes in eating pattern, no more interest to his job, and feels worthless. So all of these are the signs and symptoms of major depression. The one responsible or the neurotransmitter responsible for depression is decrease in serotonin and decrease in norepinephrine. The psychological traits of a major depression. Faraj has negative thoughts, thinking of suicidal thoughts. He isolates himself. He wants to be alone and don't want to make friends anymore. He has a low self-esteem. He said that he is not good anymore and try to blame himself for the death of his father. So tendency to blame self, it's my fault. It's my fault that my father died. Those are the psychological traits of a person with major depression. Negative thoughts or emotions, social isolation, low self-esteem, and tendency to blame self. So when we say negative emotions like suicidal thoughts, when we say suicidal, since your life is meaningless or worthless, you want to end your life by killing yourself. Okay, this one is he is a suicidal, trying to cut his wrist, bleeding to death. We have here the treatment for major depression. We have medications, the antidepressant medications. We also have electroconvulsive therapy or ECT and psychotherapy. So what are those antidepressant medication? We have the SSRI, the Prozac, Zoloft, Paxil, Celexa. TCA medication, these are the Elavil, Tofranil, Norpramine, Pamilor, Sinequan. We also have here the anti-typical or the atypical antidepressants, the Effexor, Wellbutrin, and Zerzone, and the mouse medication, the Marplan, Parnate, and Nardil. All of these are antidepressant medication. Another treatment is the electroconvulsive therapy or ECT. So if antidepressant medication is not effective anymore, or the medications are intolerable because of its side effect, so this is the last resort for them to use an electroconvulsive therapy. What is ECT or electroconvulsive therapy? This picture shows ECT. An ECT has 6 to 15 treatments scheduled 3 times a week. The preparation of a client for ECT is similar to preparation for any outpatient, minor, or surgical procedure. And the client will have some short-term memory impairment. So this is ECT. There is an electrode connected to the head of the patient. And this one has an electricity to shock the brain of the patient. Before the patient undergone ECT, You have to inform the nurse, and the doctor should have to inform the family members. And you have to get the consent of the patient and the family members before you do ECT. Before the patient undergone ECT, the patient should have to undergo laboratory exam and blood pressure monitoring. All of the results should be normal. Normal laboratory exam, normal blood pressure, the heart is normal, respiratory rate is normal, the lungs is normal. So the patient should have to be normal before the patient undergone ECT. Before ECT, the patient should have the patient should be NPO for 6 to 8 hours, meaning give instruction to patient not to eat or drink 6 to 8 hours before ECT. And the electrodes is connected to the head of the patient to monitor the brain waves activity and seizure during treatment. The patient will be given anesthesia and muscle relaxants, and he will be able to sleep for a couple of minutes during treatment, and he will be given oxygen to breathe. So muscle relaxant is given to modify the seizure because during seizure, there will be a muscle twitching, and muscle twitching is painful. So muscle relaxant would make his muscle relax and less painful. The side effects of ECT are headache, dizziness, nausea, muscle pain, confusion, and short-term memory loss, or what we call retrograde amnesia. So memory loss will generally improve within a few weeks or months after ECT treatment. And then a patient has pulse oximeter to check the level of oxygen in the blood. So this is the pulse oximeter. And there is also a chest lead connected to the chest to monitor the activity of the heart. So the patient will be given oxygen and put a mouth guard to prevent biting of the teeth during the activity seizure. And this electrode should be placed on the temple of the patient, and electricity will be given to the patient. As you can see, the patient has a seizure already. Generalized seizure. So the patient is given oxygen. After the treatment, the patient will be placed in a side-lying position, or this is what we call recovery position. And the doctor continuously give the oxygen. And after a few minutes, the patient will be awake and ready to go home. So ECT, again, ECT is used when the medication are ineffective or side effects are intolerable. So the treatment are antidepressant, ECT, and we have another one, psychotherapy. So in conjunction with medication is considered most effective treatment. Useful therapies including behavioral, cognitive, and interpersonal therapy. Okay, I will continue the lecture next week. Thank you for listening.